15 things that poor people do that rich people don't do. You are on the path to achieving financial success, so we wanted to put together a list of things that poor people do that guarantee our mediocrity. Please take all of these with a grain of salt and realize that they are here to make you think about your current situation and what could you do to improve yourself. The problem is that whenever we make a video like this, some people always get offended while you're busy criticizing us in the comments. The real Luxor writes this and sees if there is room for improvement in their own lives in order to make a list that is truly valuable to you. We consulted some of our own mentors and millionaire friends about some of the differences between the poor and the rich in their everyday lives. As always, there are many exceptions to these rules. Not everyone is in the right place. Control these circumstances. But being aware of these habits and activities can give you a small advantage, and who knows, if you stop doing them, maybe you'll be closer to that goal. You've been dreaming. Here are 15 things poor people do that rich people don't do. Number 1. Poor people watch a lot of TV. Let me put it this way. If you have time to watch reality shows on TV, you are probably poor. It's always amazing how much time poor people waste on mindless television. It's one of those distractions that grabs you and won't let go. If you know which celebrity is dating who, and if you're watching TV shows every week as the episodes arrive on, if you have a favorite news channel, you're probably watching too much television. So why your life is the way it is, let us explain. Celebrity gossip and buzz deals no value to your life. It only suits the celebrities that rich people pretend to be on TV instead of watching. You might say, but it's a luxury. I'm watching like a Big Bang Theory, which is a very funny show, and it helps me disconnect. That's exactly the problem. There are rare occasions when you disconnect from your problems instead of dealing with them and getting them out of the way. Where, in the words of John Lennon, the time you like to waste is not wasted time. But think well, sitting and swiping watching a screen is something you really enjoy doing. Before we move on to the second thing, poor things, let me explain what we mean by having a favorite news channel. You might say that the only good reason to watch TV is to be aware of what's going on in the world and keep up, be informed about the problem. What we are seeing is that TV broadcasters are always biased towards choosing their own magenta, instead using the power of the internet to get a quick look at what the world is like today and move on to make your own things. Number 2, poor people eat fast food. Health is really important, and many poor people are not interested in knowing what's in their food. What should a really healthy meal be like? Or do you barely know anything about nutrition? Poor people are blowing their brains out with large amounts of sugar and fats with no nutritional value. Of your life are directly affected. You will suffer physically, mentally, professionally, and even romantically. Number 3, poor people buy clothes or products that are on sale. Let me put it this way. The only thing you should buy on sale is stocks, while poor people try to conserve or stretch what little they have. The rich are focused on increasing their income. Just think about it. The clothes that end up on sale are the ones that people who could pay the full price didn't pay. No, I want that when you buy clothes on sale, you're just ensuring that you're looking exactly like someone who can't afford full price. Number of poor people who wake up later than rich people in their early years. Poor people are often lazier than the rich in the early days. We know that some of you will be very bothered by the previous statement, but statistically it is true that someone who used their youth to grow is much less likely to remain poor later in life. Rather than waking up late, don't educate yourself. Waste time on activities meaningless. At one point you will find yourself falling so far short of what the world needs from you that you will end up feeling unhappy. The paradox is that people who don't focus on growth in the early days end up working a lot harder with little success rate later in life, just to stay afloat. We did a whole series on how to inspire people on our channel, and almost everyone they Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, and more wake up early. You can check out the series at top right. Number 5. Where people really like sports. The truth is, unless you are a professional athlete or owner of one of the teams, no, there really is no reason for you to watch sports. It's the same with television. It's escapism from your current reality. Think of it this way. You are putting yourself in a position where you as an individual have no impact on the outcome of the game. Zero impact. This behavior stays with you, and you end up being a spectator in life instead of being a player or owner. And that's when you start criticizing other people when you yourself haven't done anything better. Number 6. Poor people don't shower as often as rich people. We initially thought this was just a made-up fact, but it turns out to be true, and surprisingly, this explains a lot when you really think about it. Most jobs today are in service industries, where human contact is essential for a successful exchange of value. People who don't have good personal hygiene will, over time, be less successful than their colleagues. People tend to trust them less. People want to spend less time when they are present, and all of this has ramifications in their personal lives. If people don't like you and don't want to be around you, what kind of partners will you attract exactly? It may sound ridiculous, but the first step to success should be a morning shower. Number 7. Poor people blame others for their misfortune. How many people do you know who have some kind of excuse or blame other factors for not being successful yet? There are some things that are out of our control, but 99% of your life depends on you. Remember that you are in charge of your life. You is not in charge of your relationships, you are in charge of your health, and you want it to change. Do something about it. Life isn't what happens to us, it is like we react to what happens to us. When something roomy it happens, the poor choose to victimize themselves while the rich investigate and study. They try to find out what happened, because what happened and how they can protect themselves in the future. While one assumes the position of a vulnerable victim, the other uses this as a point of growth. 8. Poor people have no money saved. One of the differences between the poor and the rich is that the former do not prepare themselves for what comes next. Having money saved allows for growth. Let's say something bad happens. If you have money saved, the problem is solved, and you can resume your life. If you don't, and the situation is urgent, what do you do? Or liquid an asset like your car, house, etc. Or you can take a loan to the rich. When the situation is over, they are left in the same position. The savings, while for someone who is poor, their lifestyle has been dramatically hit or now belongs to the lender. Let's see exactly what opposite arises. An opportunity who has money saved. Now they have the opportunity to expand their lives, while others cannot afford to make the most of this opportunity. Is that why the rich are getting richer while the poor are getting poorer? Number 9. Poor people use credit cards or take out loans for useless things. One of the main differences between rich and poor is how they use credit. The rule is simple. If you take out a loan to buy something that doesn't generate more money than the loan, don't do it. It's that simple. You should only use credit. If what you're going to use is an investment, do you want to take out a loan to buy a large TV? I don't want a loan to buy that new Supreme gear. These items should not be on your credit. Instead, earn the money and then spend it. You will learn more about this in number 12. Number 10. Poor people tend to have more children and earlier in life. The truth is, children are actually very expensive. We all know how fun it is to make them, or at least practice doing them. But people get stuck until this point. They don't think it's true. Just to give you some perspective, if you live in one of the more developed countries, raising a child will cost approximately $250,000 because of the lack of education, that the environment and other factors. People the poor have, on average, more children and at a younger age than their rich counterparts, while the rich wait a few years for their living standards to improve in order to ensure the right environment and privileged conditions for their children to flourish. The poor just move on when the baby is born. The struggle begins just so they can stay afloat and get ahead. Besides surviving, it's almost impossible to reach the number 11. Poor people don't get regular checkups. They are doctors. Already we've mentioned the importance of health in the past, but this is an especially important point for people. Don't get checked out regularly. Let's say that by pure chance you end up having a difficult illness. Let's say it's cancer. If you get checked out regularly, you will discover in the early stages that treatment is possible at a lower cost. If, on the other hand, you fail to do so, you may only find out when it is too late. It will cost you and your entire family a fortune. How much money you have, you can still lose your life. Number 12. Poor people spend money before they get it. One of the greatest dangers in life is spending money before you have it. The second you start borrowing money or acquire expenses before you can pay them, your life starts to go downhill. If you don't have money for something you are willing to part with without affecting your life, then you can't afford it. Go back to work and then get. Number 13. Poor people surround themselves with other poor people. True Englezers know that you are one of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you are surrounded by 4 poor people, guess who is 5th? One of the ways people ensure they stay poor is by associating or hanging out with other poor people who reinforce your core beliefs. You need people around you who will inspire you and push you further, who are doing incredible things, whose success will only motivate you to overcome your current reality. If you are hanging out with the same people you were with when you were young, you might want to double check. Don't be afraid to break away from the crowd and move on to something better. If you don't, your potential will probably be destroyed by those who want to feel better about their miserable lives, making clear you suffer the same fate. Number 14. Poor people never realize their ideas or potential. You are not able to control who your parents are, where you were born, or the way society treats you. The only thing you can control is the amount of hours you dedicate to your dream. Every person alive only has 24 hours in a day, and yet some achieve much more than others. If you dedicate yourself to learning and implementing more of what you love, it's only a matter of time until you achieve success. You've heard that 9 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 3 years. Well, do you know how many companies fail because they never started? The answer is all of them. If you have an idea, work on it, publish it, get feedback, improve it, release it again and again. It took us 3 years of writing thousands of articles about AlexCom before we decided to take the leap and make videos here on YouTube. Number 15. Poor people believe that others should help them get to the top. The world owes you nothing. No one believes it or not. You are in it alone. You are in charge. What happens in your life? The problem is that everyone believes when they are young that they will succeed. But then, reality happens in this world we are living in rewards only the best, those who never give up, those who keep learning, keep adapting, and understanding that no one will solve your problems for them, face them head on, and along the way you might meet like-minded people who can share parts of the journey with you, otherwise you will just be part of that majority, which means failing. We know this video was very long, but we believe perhaps this video will help you on your journey. If you know someone who is guilty of any of these 15 things, please do him a favor and show him this video. We are curious to know, Alux, what things do you believe poor people do that rich people don't? What would you add to this list? Let us know in the comments. Oh, you are still here, very interesting. Thanks for being a real lucky guy, sir. Here's your bonus fact. Poor people are much more religious than rich people. Can you imagine the chaos if we started the video with this? The fact is this: statistically speaking, successful people depend on their own strengths for their well-being, while poor people hope that a mythical forest will somehow reward them for being good people, even as presidents and CEOs can mention God in their speeches. They are not really religious. A great example is Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, who has been an atheist for most of his life, but may now consider a position in politics in the near future. Decided to change your stance if you have launched yourself at this point and want to prove that you are a real block, sir. Please write, "I'll be rich" in the comments section. Make your wishes public so we can hold you accountable for them. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxor. Make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos that we recommend you watch next. Thanks for being a Lexer, and we'll see you back.